Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the class on business statistics. Previous class I started discussing about what is statistical description of data. I was talking about statistical description of data, and when we talk about statistical description of data, it is very important for us to understand what do you mean by data. So probably when we are trying to understand the concept of data, data is something which is tangible, which is intangible, which is always there around us. Is something like a air, or something like a air which is always there around us, and we probably have to interpret it. So data can be air, can be also the data. So anything and everything which can give us some information, that is the data for us. So now to define data, we should not be limited to one scope of study. So I cannot understand data only if I'm trying to understand science, or if I'm in computers. So probably when we are trying to work on data, data is probably any form of information which we can interpret or which we cannot interpret. So there are a lot of traces of Indus Valley civilization around us. If you go to Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, you can see a lot of traces, lot of manuscript being written. But only problem is that we could not able to understand what was being written. So otherwise things would have been much more different. So anyway, so it is very important us to work on data. More than working on data, it's more important that we need to make sure that the next generation should get the data. So like if you remember during 1206, when Muhammad Ghori defeated the Prithviraj Chauhan in the second battle of Tehran, that time when Kutubuddin Aibak, they all came to India, Muhammad Ghori, Kutubuddin Aibak, when all came to India, then Muhammad bin Bakhtiyar Khilji also came with them, and he burned Nalanda University, all the books, all the manuscripts, all the ancient, what you call written form of different mechanism of research being done in the past were burned in Nalanda University. And then lot of Buddhist monk, they went to Tibet. They went to Tibet for refugee, and that's how we lost a lot of traces of the data about our ancient Indian civilization and science and technology development. So, but even then, data is something which is very important. The data which we have worked from the ages, which gradually got acknowledged by Arabic and Western civilized people, and they came up with the similar concept like Pythagoras theorem or Archimedes principle or Fibonacci numbers. All this was already done in India a long time back. So you need to understand the importance of data so that the next civilization get to know what the forms of research is being done. So when we talk about data, data is the form of information. And when we try to understand data, primarily data can be divided into two parts. Either it can be put into qualitative data, or it can be put under quantitative data. So quantitative data is the data which is there in the form of numbers, while qualitative data is there in the form of attributes. So when we are trying to understand qualitative data, under qualitative data, we try to work attributes like name, your gender, your religion, or any other features which can describe you or the data. While when we talk about quantitative data, it is primarily in the form of numbers. Talking about statistics is the study where we do research. Study statistics is the work of research. So when we do research, when we are working on research, it is very important for us is to first collect the data. And and in statistics, when we talk about the process of statistics, when we discuss in statistics, the first step, when we talk about the collection of data, which we discussed in the last class. So collection of data can be done in different ways. Whenever you are working on data, you can create the data by yourself, which is primary data, or you can use the data which is already being created by someone else, which is called secondary data. So we need to understand what is primary data, what is secondary data. So we have studied about primary data and secondary data in the previous class. where we discussed that the person who collect the primary data is called as enumerator. And when we try to collect the primary data, there are different methods which we can follow. Either we can follow direct observation method, or we can follow direct interview method, or indirect interview method, telephonic interview method, or mailed questionnaires. So we discussed about them in the previous class. Going further, we had discussed the next step in the collection, or the process in statistics, which is called organization, organization and classification of data, which is called organization and classification of data. So when we are working on organization and classification of data, so we discussed ways to classify the data. Either we can discuss the classifying the data in different forms, like quantitative classification, it can be qualitative classification, it can be geographical classification, or it can be temporal classification. Collecting data is not a big deal. Right now we have that advanced forms of softwares, we which based upon the assignment being done, they can easily collect the data. But once the data is being collected, it is very important that we need to clean the data. Then only we can do analysis on the data in much more appropriate way, and the possibility of error can be avoided. So once we are done with the organization classification of the data, the third form which we need to understand today, which we'll start today to discuss, is the analysis on data. So this is the very important thing, because ultimately when we are trying to study statistics, where we are trying to do research, so the statistics is all about performing research. So by using the law of mathematics, so when we are using the law of mathematics to perform research on the data, that form of application of mathematics on the data, that is basically called as the analysis on data. And whenever we are trying to analyze the data, so there are different ways are there. We can work on the analysis on data, we can work on different parameters, like, so when we talk about analysis on data, we can do univariate analysis. When we talk about analysis, we can talk about univariate analysis, we can talk about bivariate analysis, we can talk about bivariate analysis, or we can talk about multivariate analysis. So we can talk about univariate analysis, or bivariate analysis, or multivariate analysis. So when we talk about univariate analysis is all about analyzing a single set of data. So you have just focused on one set of data, and you are trying to do the postmortem of the data to understand each and every component of that data. That is called as univariate analysis. Normally in statistics, when we discuss the univariate analysis, then we'll discuss about something called measure of central tendency, or we discuss in the name of measure of dispersion. We'll discuss in the form of measure of central tendency, or in the form of measure of dispersion. Those who have done statistics in the past, in their PU, in their BCom, BBA, definitely they would be understanding what I'm talking about. For others, other specialized people, it may be going like a Greek for you, but you need to with me to understand this part, because we are right now just doing, we are just trying to develop a story. So I'm something like, I'm talking is Christopher Nolan movie. I'm trying to discuss a movie like Tenant, which is going in some other dimension. So it will come to the same dimension. Only thing, you need to little bit patient, and you need to with me to understand the story which I'm trying to explain you. When we talk about univariate analysis here, we normally focus on two parameter. One is measure of central tendency, and other one is measure of dispersion. Okay, and either I talk about measure of central tendency, or either I talk about measure of dispersion, we'll concentrate our discussion limiting on the normal distribution. So we'll focus on normal distribution. We'll focus on normal distribution to understand our form of research. So basically, you need to understand that whatever the data we have, like statistics is all about understanding data. Statistics is all about working on a data. So when you're trying to work on a data, you are trying to analyze this data, you need to understand we believe that anything and everything around us follow normal distribution pattern. So when we talk about normal distribution pattern, we need to understand here, like imagine in my class 30 students are there. Suppose in my class 30 students are there. Now, in case if I told you, like I'm giving you 5 minutes time, I'm closing my eyes, I'm giving you 5 minutes time, you whatever way you want, you can stand like the way you want. Imagine it is an empty class, and I told you I'm giving you 5 minutes time, I'm closing you my eye within this empty class, wherever you want, you all can stand. Okay, suppose if I'm doing this experiment with all of you, so probably after 5 minutes, when I'll open my eye, I will see that not everyone, majority of the people will be at together. It's not like everyone would be separated from each other. So that is against the law of nature. I hope everyone understand. If anything and everything around what we see around us follow the law of nature. Either you know or you don't know. If you don't know, like if you try to see the power of maths, then read or Google about what is Fibonacci numbers. To read about Fibonacci numbers, understand what is Fibonacci numbers. Then you'll understand that anything and everything around us follow mathematics. Whatever is going to happen, that again follow mathematics. So I'll not go into detail of Fibonacci numbers, but I'm just trying to tell you the glimpse of the scenario that we believe that the data, what is data? We are a data, we are a living data, something is a non-living data. So as a data, if I give you an opportunity that in an empty class, that you all around 21 students are listening to me, if I give you, okay, this is empty class, you all, I'm closing my eye, you all can stand anywhere in within this class. So probably after 5 minutes, when I'll open my eye, I'll see the majority of the people would be standing together. And that is the tendency of the data, that is called as measure of central tendency. That is called as measure of central tendency. So measure of central tendency says that it is a nature of data to aggregate at a center. That the center here means where probably the maximum people would be there, so that would be considered as a center here. For the time being, you can understand it is a tendency of data to aggregate at one point, which you call as a measure of central tendency. And this measure of central tendency, when I'll talk about measures, and in this measure central tendency, about mean, we'll do median, we'll discuss mode, we'll study about mean, we'll discuss median, we'll discuss mode. If I'll teach or if I'll not teach also, whoever faculty will teach you, will definitely will discuss mean, median, mode with you. And when we talk about mean can be arithmetic mean, it can be geometric mean can be harmonic mean. We'll understand the difference between arithmetic, geometric mean and harmonic mean. We'll discuss about them. Arithmetic mean is greater than equal to geometric mean is greater than equal to harmonic mean, where the square of geometric mean is equal to arithmetic mean into harmonic mean. We'll discuss about them. So under measure central tendency, we'll discuss this property of the data. So then going further, when we talk about measure of dispersion, so then when we discuss the next component, which is called measure of dispersion. In measure of dispersion, we study the possibility of finding out those values which are not at center. Like when I told you people that I'm giving you 5 minutes time, after 5 minutes time, when I'll open my eye, I will expect you people that you all can stand in the class. And then when I opened the class, I opened my eye, I noticed that the majority of you people are were to, but it's not like everyone will be at center. There's possibly the people may not be at center. So to calculate that possibility, that is called measure of dispersion. So when we study measure of dispersion, in measure dispersion, we'll study different parameters, like we'll study range, we'll study quartile deviation, we'll study mean deviation, we'll study variance, we'll study standard deviation, we'll study a coefficient of variance. So the lot of parameters are there which we'll study. So all this what we are discussing, we everything we are discussing as a normal distribution. So we believe that the data around us follow normal distribution, but there are certain events which is not actual real, which is something which is based on probability. So when we will discuss those scenarios which will based on probability, like tossing a coin or playing with dice, or or finding about the possibility of getting infected with coronavirus in a class where 30 students are sitting, and imagine that no one have corona problem, but suddenly certain rumor happened that around us we are expecting some kind of infection of coronavirus. So what is the probability that we may get infected by coronavirus? So when we go beyond the world of reality, if instead of talking beyond the world of reality, if we try to understand the possibility, the scenario, when we think about the scenarios, like the multiple scenarios are there, like you seen the movie Inception. So there are a lot of scenarios were there, and we when we try to understand the world of scenarios, then we need to see beyond normal distribution, and there we'll discuss the other form of distribution of data, where we'll talk about binomial distribution, we'll talk about Poisson distribution, we'll discuss about them gradually in the future, because as our journey will be very big, we'll have around 6 month partnership with each other, where we'll do the exchange of knowledge, along with discussing with normal and binomial distribution, we'll talk about Poisson distribution, we'll talk about binomial distribution which are based on probability instead of normal distribution, which is more realistic in nature. So in univariate data analysis, we just focused on one form of 1 minute. Hello, is I'm audible? Hello, is I'm audible? Can you hear me? Please message, guys. Can you hear me? Is I'm audible? Okay. Sorry, guys. Just now electricity went away. I'm using my mobile hotspot, so you may find little bit of disturbance. I hope so that disturbance will not be there. So we talked about univariate. We talked about univariate data analysis, and going further beyond the univariate data analysis. Now the next thing what we need to understand is the bivariate data analysis. So when we talk about bivariate data analysis, in that we'll study the concept of correlation and regression. So in that we'll study the concept of correlation and regression. So in bivariate data analysis, we'll try to establish the relationship between two variables. So in case if the two variables are independent variable, in case if you have two independent variable, in case if you have two independent variable, so the study of two independent. Is I'm audible? Can you hear me? So when we study the correlation, correlation is basically the relationship where we'll study the logic of two independent variables together. So correlation is basically it is a relationship between two independent variables. So when we are trying to establish the relationship between two independent variable, then it is called as correlation. While when we talk about the relationship between two variable where one variable is dependent on another variable. Regression is all about the relationship where one variable is dependent on other variable, where one variable is dependent on other variable, where one variable is dependent on other variable. That is called regression. So regression is a relationship between two variable where we establish the relationship where there is a two variable, one independent variable and other dependent variable, and here the dependent variable is dependent on the independent variable. So that we what we'll study in bivariate analysis. So we'll spend a lot of time discussing about bivariate analysis. We'll spend time discussing about univariate analysis. Then we'll spend time on something called multivariate analysis. So when we talk about multivariate analysis, here when I'm talking about multivariate, so here in the case of multivariate analysis, I'll try to find that macroeconomic variable which is dependent on lot of independent variables. Like for an example, so for an example, suppose if I talk about currency movement. So if I talk about a variable like currency movement, so like if suppose $1 is equal to 85 rupees, if suppose $1 is equal to 85 rupees, so if I say $1 is equal to 85 rupees, then the value of the change in the dollar value with respect to the rupee value will depends upon lot of factor. It depends on factors. 1 minute. So suppose I was talking about currency movement. So I'll repeat bivariate. So like what is multivariate analysis? Multivariate analysis means multiple variables. Bivariate analysis means two variables. Univariate analysis means one variable. So like if I'm talking bivariate analysis, so we'll talk about the relationship between two variables. Suppose the two variables are x and y. So what can be the relationship we can establish between them? So in case if the two variables are independent, like your marks in mathematics with respect to your marks in Hindi. So the marks what you get in Hindi, what is that marks of your Hindi, or what that is having the relation with the marks in mathematics? Is there two independent variable? If there are two independent variable, is there any form of relation between them? So like when we do stock market investment, whenever you do stock market investment, you try to create a portfolio, you always try to bring those stocks together which are negatively correlated. If you bring two stocks which are positively correlated, then there's no logic of creating a portfolio. So I hope you have heard of stock market and all. So I'll not go into details of stock market and other parameters. So what is correlation? Correlation is basically the relationship between two variable where one variable is independent of other variable, while regression is the relationship between two variable where one variable is dependent on the other variable. Okay, going further, when we talk about multivariate analysis, in the case of multivariate analysis, we try to understand the influence of multiple variables on a single variable. That is what we are trying to do. So when we talk about multivariate analysis, we are trying to understand is there by any chance is there the possibility that a single variable can be dependent on multiple variables? Yes, there are a lot of examples are there for that. So you take any parameter which is macroeconomic in nature. If you consider any parameter which is macroeconomic in nature, like for possibly the currency movement. So if I see $1 is equal to 85 rupees. So when I see $1 is equal to 85 rupees, if I see when $1 is equal to 85 rupees, then possibly the value of $1 with respect to rupees 85 rupees will depend on lot of factor. If $1 become 86 rupees, or if $1 become 80 rupees, it's gonna impact a huge economy. So and that changes what we talk about. It again dependent on multiple factors. It depends upon the interest rate differential between the two countries. It depends upon the interest rate differential between the two countries. It depends upon the inflation rate differential between the two countries. It depends upon the GDP deflator of both the country. It depends upon the economic policy changes created by the both the countries. It depends upon the nature of current account deficit or fiscal account deficit maintained by both the country. So there are a lot of factors are there. So I'll not talk about those factors. I'm just trying to show you an implication that whenever we talk about multivariate analysis, what we are trying to see how multiple variables all together is gonna influence a single variable, and that single variable can be the currency movement. So when we talk about statistics, when we do the analysis on data, we can end up in doing analysis which can be univariate analysis. We can end up in doing analysis which can be bivariate analysis, or it can be multivariate analysis. So I hope you understood. So we started discussing about collection of data. Yesterday we started discussing about collection of data. So when we talk about statistics, statistics is all about data. It's all about how you can decode the data and how you can work on analysis part of the data. And once your analysis is done, how you can interpret from the data. So that is what statistics is all about. So it starts right from the time when you talk about collection of data. Once you collected the data, you went beyond, you talked about organizing and classifying the data. Once you organize and classifying the data, then the next step would be analyzing the data. Once you analyze the data, once your analysis part is done, once you analyze the data, then the next part, what you need to do once your analysis part is done, what is the next part you can do? You need to get the inference. So what is the inference of analysis of data? So what is the inference of analysis on data? So what inference you got from that? So you have to come up with the inference. You did lot of mathematical calculation. You were working on time machine. You developed the equation also for time machine. You did so much rigorous mathematical calculation. But at the end of the day, you need to have an inference. What is the outcome? What is the output? Because everyone and anyone is waiting for output. So all these and if this is what you are doing right now, what you are doing analysis only. From the time when you started working, from the time you started studying, you from that time only the analysis part of your life started. And your parents are waiting of inference. Your parents are waiting when you get a job. So when you get a job, that is the inference, that is the output. I hope you are understanding. So that is the output. Here, that organization, classification, that is a continuous process. What is happening in our life? In our life, we decide, we choose between different parameters. We choose what to do, what not to do. We reorganize ourselves. We reclassify ourselves, and we continuously do analysis. That analysis is done by someone else to us in the form of examination. And once that examination is done, then on period basis, we get the analysis. We get the inference. What inference? What output? That output, what we get in the form of percentage. So here, when I'm talking about inference, that inference is very important. So whenever we do research, ultimately what matters in the research is the inference. That inference, what you understood is the inference. Now you need to tell to the world also what you understood. So what you understood, that then the when you're trying to tell to the world what you have understood, that is called presentation of data. So this is basically called as presentation of data, because you were doing some hard work, you were doing some research work. So to do the research work, you first collected the data, then you organized and classified the data, and then you did the analysis on the data. Finally, you got some output. So you need to tell to the world the output what you got. The output what we got, that is called as presentation. So this output what you got, when we talk of presentation of data, so presentation of data can be diagrammatic presentation, it can be diagrammatic presentation of data, it can be diagrammatic presentation of data, Okay, this presentation of data, it can be graphical presentation of data. When you talk about presentation of data, it can be diagrammatic presentation of data, it can be graphical presentation of a data. Okay, it can be work when we worked on the presentation of data. So probably it can be textual presentation of data, it can be presentation of data, it can be textual presentation of data, or it can be tabular presentation of data, or it can be tabular presentation of data. So when we're trying to present the data, we when once our inference is done, your analysis is done, then what you try to do, you try to present the data to the rest of the world. So you can present the data in the form of story. Whatever the research you did, whatever the output, what you get from the research, you can write a complete story. So you can write your Jeevani, what you call in Hindi. You can write your biography. So what is a bio? In that biography, you can tell to the world what all you have learned in your life. So Chiranjeevi, suppose, has written his own biography. So he has written his biography, everything right from the childhood till this time, what all he have learned in his life, what all mistakes he had done in life, what all output he can understand from that. What is the good thing happen? What is the bad thing happen? SWOT analysis Chiranjeev has done on himself, a SWOT analysis. He knows his strength, he knows his weakness, he knows the opportunities of him in the future, he knows the threat of him. So what kind of threat he have? Threat maybe Chiranjeevi is very generous person. He helped lot of people. So Chiranjeevi think that that can be threat for him, because having too much generous is also not good. If you're trying to help anyone and everyone, then someday you should not become Karan. So Karan has given his own what you call the own protection tools to the other people, taking advantage of that. Other people attacked him, so nobody want to become Karan in their life. So when we talk about textual presentation is all about writing story, and through stories we try to present the data, whatever the research is being done. You remember project work in your BCom, BBA. If you've done any project work, if you've done any internship, at the end of the day your teacher expect you to submit work. So in that project work, what you had to submit, in that project work, what you had done, in the project work you have written a complete book, around page book you have written, where you mention anything and everything about what all you have done, what all the form of research you have done, what all analysis you have done. So the right from the time when you talked about the objective of the research, from that time to the all form of analysis and inference, whatever you got, everything you presented in the form of story, you written anything and everything. That is basically called as tabular presentation of data. So when we talk about tabular presentation of data, so the tabular presentation of data is all about presenting the data in the form of story. Like whatever, like there's a India, between India and Australia, a test match is gonna happen. So I'm not gonna watch the test match, although I love cricket, but I'm not gonna watch the test match, because watching test match is very boring. So instead of that, what I'll do next day, I'll open Times of India newspaper and I'll read. Whatever is written, I'll read it, and to understand what has happened one day back. Or what I can do, I can see the scorecard. So if I see the scorecard, so then the scorecard would be given in the form of table. So there would be a table. So if I see the table, I can see anything and everything. It doesn't matter which newspaper I'm using. If I open Chinese newspaper also, in that, if the scorecard is given, I can understand possibly what all has happened. So maybe it written in any other language, but because I believe, but numbers does not belong to any language. So when there, I just need to see the score of the person. With that, I can get an idea what all has happened in the match one day back. So textual presentation is all about story. Tabular presentation is all about tables. So we look into the table, and with the table we try to understand the event, the sequence of event, what has happened. So when we talk about table, in the table we need to understand the component of a table. So when I talk about the component of a table, So in the component of table, the first thing in the table is the box head. The first component of a table is called box head, means the heading of the table. That is called box head. Then the next part in the table is the caption. Caption means the column heading. Caption means the column heading. So the heading of the table, that is called box head. Like 1 minute, I'll show you. So so the heading of the table is the box head. So the heading of this table. So you can see this. So the heading of this table. So if you see this, the heading of this table, like book one. So the heading of this table, this is a table. Okay, the heading of this table, this book one is the box head. Okay, then you have column heading. Column heading is like home, insert, draw, page layout, formula, data, review, view. So I'm just giving an example. Just so this is a column heading. The other name of column heading is called caption. Then you have a row heading, that is called stub. So when you say stub, stub basically means row heading. When we say stub, stub basically means row heading. Stub basically means row heading. When we say stub, stub basically means a row heading. Okay, then you have box head, you have caption, you have stub. Okay, then after stub, you have a body, means you have content. So you have this. So in the here you have a column heading like file, home, insert, draw, page layout, formula. They are the column heading. The row heading, you can see numbers are written. That is your row heading. You can understand this. So then that is called row heading. Then you have body. Body means content, where like if you see profit and loss statement, so you know that heading of the profit loss statement is written that this is the profit loss statement of XYZ company from this period to this period. Then you have columns. In columns you have serial number, you have particulars, you have debit, you have credit, all that total, all that is column. Row wise numbers are written. Okay, under that body means all the different entries will be given: sales, account receivable, account payable, all creditors, debtors, or inventory. All the different values will be given. So all together, that is called as body. So once you have a body, below the body, you have footnote. Below the body, you have a footnote, and after footnote, you have a source note. So below the body you have footnote. What do you mean by footnote? Footnote basically means some terms which were given in the body. Maybe that was not explained. Maybe we don't know that term. Like there's a term written called miscellaneous. There's a term written in the body, within the body. There's a term written called miscellaneous. So on the top of miscellaneous, two stars we put, and at the down we'll explain what do you mean miscellaneous. So miscellaneous means sundry debtors plus sundry creditors plus XYZ, whatever different accounting terms. So with that I explain what do you mean by 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 miscellaneous. Suppose there's a term called sundry is written, and on the top I'll put star, at the down I'll explain what do you mean sundry, something like that. So footnote basically means certain words which maybe which different, maybe Latin word, while in the body I've used some Latin word. So then at the down I explain that. Okay, down I explain that what the meaning of that word. Okay, when you read the book on science, you written, you saw a lot of Latin and Greek words being used in chemistry and all. So at the down I explain that word, meaning of that word. That is called footnote. Okay, below that there is source note. Source note basically is more important for secondary data, the data which is secondary data in nature. So I need to mention the source from where I have taken the data. So I need to give thanks to whichever author or whichever newspaper or whichever article I have taken the data. I need to give credit to them. Okay, so because I am using their data, I'm doing their piece of hard work, so I need to give credit to them. So that is being done under source note. Clear, everyone? Clear everyone? Anyone, any doubt? Anyone, any doubt, any question? Anyone, any question? Any doubt, anyone? Any question, anyone? Now read this question, everyone. Everyone, please read this question. Try to solve this question. So this is the question based on tabular presentation of data. The questions on tabular presentation on data. So this is the question on tabular presentation of data. Everyone, read this question. If you can solve it also. Out of 1,000 persons, 25% were industrial worker and the rest were agricultural worker. 300 people enjoyed World Cup matches on TV, full stop. 30% of people who had not watched World Cup match were industrial worker, full stop. What is the number of agricultural worker who had enjoyed World Cup matches on TV? Everyone, please read this question. So can I solve this question or you want to solve by yourself? Should I solve this question? See this. I am solving this question. Out of 1,000 persons, 25% were industrial worker. See this, everyone. So out of 1,000 persons, so out of 1,000 persons, so you can see industrial worker and agricultural worker, industrial worker and agricultural worker. Total, you have male, you have female, then you have total. So okay, there's no male female. Here watched World Cup match. Do not watch World Cup match. So watched World Cup match on TV. Watched World Cup match on TV. Do not watch World Cup match on TV. Do not watch match on TV. Do not watch the match on TV. Okay, everyone. Are you with me, everyone? Everyone is understanding what I'm doing. Everyone is understanding what I'm doing. Anyone have any doubt? Okay, so okay, fine. So here in this problem, here in this problem, out of 1,000 persons, so total 1,000 persons are there. So total 1,000 persons are there. Out of 1,000 persons, 25% were industrial worker. 25% were industrial workers. So total 1,000 people are there. 25% of that. 25% of 1,000 means how much? 250. So out of 1,000 persons, 25% were industrial worker. So 25% were industrial worker means the total industrial worker is 250. Everyone understand this? Out of 1,000 workers, 250 are industrial worker. Everyone understood this? 25% are industrial worker. So 250 are industrial worker. I believe everyone understood this. Okay. Now, so the agricultural worker would be how much? 1,000 minus 250. That would be 750. So here we are not discussing any other form of worker. We are only talking about two forms of worker. Either the workers are industrial worker or either they are agricultural worker. So if 25% are industrial worker, so the total number of people are 1,000. So if 25% of them are industrial worker means 250 are industrial worker, then your agricultural worker will be 1,000 minus 250. That would be your agricultural worker. So the number of your agricultural worker will be 1,000 minus 250. That will give you 750. So 750 are agricultural worker. I believe everyone understood this much. Anyone have any doubt? Please ask me now. Anyone, please ask me if you have doubt. Anyone want to ask anything? Ask now only. So if no one is replying anything, so I'm assuming that no one have any doubt. Okay, so total are 1,250 are industrial worker, 750 are agricultural worker. Then 300 people enjoyed World Cup match on TV. So 300 people enjoyed World Cup match on TV. So the number of people who enjoyed World Cup match on TV are 300. So 300 people have enjoyed World Cup match on TV. So if 300 people have watched the World Cup match on TV, then the number of people who have not watched World Cup match on TV would be 1,000 minus 300 means 700. So the number of people who have not watched World Cup match on TV, that will be 700. I believe everyone is understanding. Anyone want to ask anything? Please ask me now. Ali, any doubt? Abhishek, any doubt? Akhil, any doubt? Bhumika, Basit, Chandana, Chetan, Chiranjeevi, Hemant, Karthik, anything you want to ask? Naveen, Nitin, Pooja, Satish, Pratiksha, Vinay, Vivo, 1606, any doubt? Bhumika, I have not reached Bhumika till there. Till here, till now, anyone have any doubt? Okay. Okay. So now what is written further? So 300 people enjoyed World Cup match on TV. We have done till there. We have done till here. We have done till here. We have done till here. Anyone have any doubt till here? Okay. So now after this, what is mentioned after this? What is mentioned after this? What is mentioned after this? It is mentioned that after this, it is mentioned that 30% of the people who have not watched World Cup matches were industrial worker. 30% of the people who have not watched World Cup matches. How many have not watched World Cup match? Number of people who have not watched match. How many people have not watched match? What is the number of people who have not watched match? 700. Any doubt with this? So the number of people who have not watched match is 700 because 300 has watched the match. So the number very good winner. So the number of people who have not watched match are 700. Okay. So what is mentioned? 30% of the people have not watched match. So what is 30% of this 700? 30% of this 700. So 30% of the 700, if you will get 210. 30% of 700, if you'll find, you'll get 210. So 30% of people who have not watched, 30% of people who have not, so 30% of the people who have not watched, so 30% of people who have not watched World Cup matches. Who are those people? Who are those 30% of people who have not watched World Cup matches? Who are those? How many people are there? 30 people, 30% of people who have not watched World Cup matches. What is the 30% of the people who have not watched World Cup matches? Who are those people? How many are those people? 210. They are industrial worker. Who are those? They are industrial worker. They are industrial worker. So industrial worker who have not watched match is 210. Correct, Mahindra. So the number of people who have not watched World Cup matches, like 30% of the people who have not watched World Cup match, total 700 has not watched World Cup match. 30% of that, 30% of 700, 30% of 700 are those which are industrial workers. Okay, everyone. So once you understood this, means your work is done. Now you have to do fill in the blank. Now after this, you have to do fill in the blank. Now, if you understood till now, then no need for me to do anything. You if this much is done, means now it's a fill in the blank. So this, what is this? This is 710 minus 2, 700 minus 210. This is 700 minus 210. How much you will get this? You will get 490. You can do it everything by yourself. This is what? This is 250 minus 210. This will be 40. What is this? This is 300 minus 40. This will be 260. Now you can do by yourself. It is a fill in the blank. Clear? Anyone have any doubt? Clear? Anyone have any doubt? Anyone, any doubt? Any question, anyone? Anyone want to ask any question? Anyone want to ask any question? Okay guys, so this much from the today class. So this much what we have planned to discuss. In the today class, we'll continue our discussion in next class. So in this class, what I have done in today class, I have started discussing from analysis on data. In the previous class, I have discussed about what is collection of data and what is organization of data. If you want the recording of the class, if you want the if you want the recording of the class, I sent you the link which you can follow for the recording. Okay, everyone. So today, what I have done in this class, I have started discussing about what is analysis on data. While talking about the analysis on data, we talked about univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, and multivariate analysis. Then we talked about the inference of the analysis on data. Then we talked about the presentation of data. In the presentation of data, we talked about diagrammatic presentation, graphical presentation, textual presentation, tabular presentation. In this class, I have done only tabular presentation and textual presentation. We'll discuss the numericals also. There are a lot of numericals to discuss. We'll discuss these numericals in the next class. Once we finish the tabular presentation, then we'll do diagrammatic presentation and graphical presentation. Yesterday, I have discussed about what is the collection of data, what is the organization and classification of data. In collection of data, we talked about primary data, secondary data. In organization and classification of data, we talked about quantitative classification, qualitative classification, geographical classification, chronological classification. All these we have discussed in the past class and today class. So this much we have done till now in this class. Anyone want to ask anything, please ask me, so that otherwise I'll wind up the class. So with that intention, I like to say thank you to everyone. God bless you. Take care. Bye. See you all in next class.